and continuing to build. I'm working on the second cul-de-sac now. This one has two-story houses and two small houses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 8, 6 in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two, three, four. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is the first driveway. Well, actually, really the second. There's another driveway on the other side. That starts just a little bit before this one. But the first one I'm putting into this cul-de-sac. Or dead end road, basically. So I need to do a slight bit of excavation. Now to figure out exactly how long this driveway should be. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 1, 2. This should bring the driveway goes right up to the house. So that should be the entire driveway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's just one room on the first floor, and that is split into two different areas, basically by the design of the house, into a kitchen, dining room, and also living room. There are 2 windows along the front of the house looking into the kitchen area and dining room area. And there's a side door roughly here with a window right next to it looking into the dining room area. Should be the perimeter of the house. Stairs in the back leading to the second floor. Okay, driveway basically I still need to fill it in. Living room area is roughly here. And there's a window about right here. Okay, all the windows are in. using birch wood for the living room area, and I'm going to use white wool for the kitchen area. The kitchen area looks like white tiles, and white wool in the city texture pack looks to match that. Okay, so side door and window. 2 windows along the front in the kitchen area. Front door about right here. And side window looking into the living room area about right here. Now to place in the walls and the top part of the frames for the windows and doors. And this works as a divide, not just to help break up the amount of oak blocks I'm using for this house, but also to show where the floor of the second floor begins. that's... Maybe this should be back here. And this is thrown off because of a very short hallway in one of the bedrooms. Now this is, second floor is made up of 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a short hallway which allows access to all those. And the part of the contention is this part right here. If I were to have done what I did before, it would only be 1 block. That might... It's kind of hard to decide which way it should go. I think I'm going to do that 1 block. See how it looks. It's kind of hard to, like I said, it's hard to tell. I'll build up the rest of the second floor and try to make a decision then. There's a door to the bedroom 2 right here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, about right here. For the bathroom. This needs to be a little bit wider. And some of these distortions that I'm running into right now are mostly because of the nature of Minecraft and the fact that the blocks are 1 meter thick. So it's forcing me to alter part of the design on the fly to make it work properly. Maybe 2, 3, 4. Okay, door to the bathroom, roughly here. It should work. Going to alter this slightly. Make the hallway just a little bit bigger. And this should match the size of this bathroom a whole lot better. Using pink in bedroom 1, the larger bedroom, simply because the wallpaper in that room is pink. And I can't really put wallpaper in it, so sort of transferring that to the floor in this case. And going to use yellow for bedroom 2. And I'll keep this slightly larger part for this sort of nook area that the bedroom has. It's a little bit unique, so it's worth keeping in. Let's see, the hallway looks like it should be okay now. Let's move the window over by one. And I'll use basically the wood as the floor on the hallway. And that is mostly because I can't put carpets underneath the doors or in the same block that the door occupies. So I had to make a slight few adjustments. If I were to switch the block underneath the door to carpet to try to make it work out, then the ceiling underneath wouldn't work properly. If this were my own house, I might try a break between the floors, which would work well. But that also alters the design because it would make the floors about 2 meters thick by using 2 blocks instead of 1 block. So there's a cost to everything. There's a window in this part of the nook, and the window's off aligned with the door, both looking into bedroom 1. And there's one window looking into the bathroom out towards the driveway, and there's a window up here, sort of right here, looking into bedroom 2. And the hallway window is in. In playing Project Zomboid, there is one way to secure a house and to create a forward operating base. And one of the ways to do it is to use a sledgehammer to destroy the stairs and then break out one of the windows, most likely a window in the hallway, preferably, or a window in the bathroom, and then drop a rope ladder from that window. And what this does is that it allows you access into the second floor without the worry of having zombies infiltrate the second floor. And especially good for areas where you need to have a place to sleep or to spend the night. Like I said, the forward operating base in Project Zomboid is very required, since you have to worry about how hunger, how much energy you have, how long you've been awake. You can't stay awake 24/7. It'll eventually wear out your skills and it'll do damage to you. So creating forward operating bases and safer places to sleep is a must in this game. So like I said, what I do is I use a sledgehammer. Well, actually I dropped the rope ladder first, but then I use a sledgehammer to take out this stairway once I've ensured that there's a way to get up and down. And it's not too hard to make a rope ladder in this case. You just need any type of fabric, and it can be sheets, it can be clothing, and you just create a rope ladder from that, and then from there you just need hammer and nails and enough of the rope ladder to actually get down to the first floor. But zombies won't climb this rope ladder, whereas zombies in Project Zomboid will climb stairs. Okay, now to place the roof in, and also to place the ceiling in. Ceiling for this, roof for this is a blue tiled roof. And for that I'll use purple. For the ceiling, I'm going to do a switch up and use what I would use on the floor on the first floor as the ceiling on the second floor. And that is mostly because I ended up using the ceiling for the first floor as a spruce block. And it seems to work well, especially with the lighter wool blocks, or in this case, carpet blocks. The carpet blocks aren't really as much of a problem on the second floor as what you might think. With some of the texture packs and a lot more on the PC side, there is a small gap that you can see between the bed and the floor, typically. In the city texture pack, this isn't a problem. The good thing is that the only thing you really need for this is basically, you can use any texture pack for it. It will alter how the buildings look, since this is built towards a certain texture pack, and part of that is kind of hard to avoid. Since some things that look great in one texture pack don't look as nice in others, and that can vary. It's just about impossible to build for every texture pack in mind. So for this case, and since the Project Zomboid, since this is I guess you could say it takes place in a city and the country, I decided to use the city texture pack for it, since the texture pack seems to work well with it and the idea of a Project Zomboid. And in general, the city texture pack is a pretty nice texture pack anyway. There are some alterations. The trap door looks a bit different in that it looks like a metal grate. So there are a few alterations there, and the chiseled quartz block. Looks a lot more like this right here looks more like an air duct. And I'll place one of those down. As you can see, this is the chiseled quartz block. It looks very different from the other quartz blocks. So I mean, there are some things like that can make a texture pack look very different. Or make a build look completely different from one build to another. Or that might make for a slight headache right there. And this will also create a flex space that can be used as a shoot. Yeah, I shouldn't go there. Actually, maybe I should. It'll create a flex space that can be used as an attic in the Minecraft version of Project Zomboid, that is. Okay, that's how this will work out. Because there's a slight strangeness here in this part of the roof, I'm going to extend out part of it. That makes this stand a little bit more. That's not, might still work. Okay, so that's the second, well, and this, today's stream will be the 5th house in. Okay, and now for the other side. This time, instead of working on one side of the street, then the other side of the street, I'm going to be working from the front to the back. Two, three, four. One, two, three, four. One, two. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. Adjust this by one. And it becomes 8. Okay, that'll work. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now to determine how far this should go. This driveway that is. 2 is a tree. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should be the extent of the driveway. The house at the end of this driveway is fairly small, and it only consists of 2 rooms, but it tends to use these rooms a bit effectively for its size. It's just a bathroom and pretty much everything else, so it's basically a studio like house. It has the bedroom off in a sort of corner or nook that the bedroom partially form. Well, the bathroom partially forms, helps to form. And in this house, there are only 2 windows, one at the front door and one on the side. That is an advantage and a slight disadvantage too. It means that there are less places that a horde needs to actually block off for you to seal you in a house. So sometimes it's a good idea to carry around a sledgehammer, even if it's heavy, or have access to one so you can break down a wall. And if you end up having to use a house, you can always leave the sledgehammer in one of those houses as an escape emergency kit. But in general, there are many cases where there are better houses to use, such as in this case right here. It's just better off to go to this 2-story house and then to do slight adjustment here. And what you do is just use the method I described while building this house, and that is to destroy these stairs and drop a rope ladder from the 2nd floor. So looks like the door is roughly here, with a window right next to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to extend this by 1. This should be the perimeter of the house. There's a small bathroom, roughly like this. And what this forms is a bedroom right here, in this nook. Kitchen in this area, and living room in this area, and dining room roughly in this area right here. In the Project Zomboid game, it's a card table. Uses a dining table. From the looks of it. Well, it's actually a little bit larger. So not fancy, but it gets the job done with what it has. Okay, 2 windows, one by the front door and one along the side. And that's roughly here. One interior door into the bathroom. And then it's a matter of building up the walls and then making sure that the frames are above the doors and windows are in. I have to flatten out this part of the roof, so I have to make a slight adjustment. Okay, the roof is made up of blue tile, so I'm going to use purple. It at least has the tile look that I'm looking for, even if the blue is slightly off. Okay, that takes care of the second house on this particular stream and the sixth house today. And I'll place in some of the things in, such as the spruce trees. But some of the trees require other houses being in to get the positioning just right. So I can't place the trees in exactly, but I prefer to actually wait on some of the trees and get in the houses first before placing all of them in. So I'll place in a sampling, and it should be enough with the spruce trees to show exactly how things should look. Some of the trees I'm placing in aren't spruce, and that is simply because there's not going to be spruce too close to it, so. It's much easier to pack trees very closely in Project Zomboid than it is to do so in Minecraft. If I were to place the same amount of trees in this Project Minecraft build, then I might end up with a solid wall of wood in some areas. So the best I can do in those cases is just make it as close enough as I can to give a good representation for it. And once I complete this cul-de-sac, I'll complete the tree builds in this area right here. Until then, I'm just placing in just enough to give me a good idea of how everything's looking. Okay, I'll do a flyover of what I've worked on during today's series of streams, and I'll do a short flyover of where I'm going to be working next. Other trees, spruce trees seem to be in for the moment, and there's going to be more trees in here, but like I said, I'm going to put in the houses first before I go back and fill in the trees. So I started with these two builds in the first stream of the day. Both single story houses. This one with an extra garage. And from there I also worked on these two houses. Again, single story, and this completed this cul-de-sac right here. This one having a nice porch on the front of it. And these two were the second stream of the day. And the third stream, and before I take a much longer break, I worked on these two houses. This two-story house right here, and this single-story house right here. And this started up the last cul-de-sac in the city. More of a, I guess you could say, dead-end road. I guess the term probably applies to both. This road will continue on for a little bit, then switch over to sand. And from there it splits into two. There's a two-story house in this direction right here, with a tool shed out back. And there's a single story house over here, a bit on the small side, much like this house over here. Once these two houses are done, then what I'm going to be working on is the 3 houses that are down this road right here. There are two-story houses in this area right here, and I don't have the driveway for this house in, but the driveway for the first 2-story house is roughly lined up with this patch of sand right here. And the first 2-story house is about right here. And the second 2-story house being, well, actually the third 2-story house for tomorrow's stream will be right here. And this is the driveway for this house. And then there's a final house, and that's behind a large wooden fence, and that is right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses left in Muldraugh. Three 2-story houses and 2 single-story houses. And there's other small things in there too, like behind this 2-story house there's a open patch and what looks like the beginning framework of another house, roughly in this area right here. So it looks like they were starting to build another house right here. But like I said, these 5 houses are done, then Muldraugh will be done. And then from there on, I'll be working on a lot of the outlying areas. There's a rail station that's in this direction that I'll be working on. And this is part of the railroad that I've placed in already. I still have some roads to go off in this direction. I've almost got those in. There's a small railway station right here that looks like it's been abandoned. And there's some farms off in this direction right here. This is just the parking lot right here. So it looks like they were going to build something. Or maybe that was just the parking lot for the old station. Although it's quite a ways from the station itself, so it's hard to tell in that case. And following this railroad will take you to the back roads. And you can still get to this where I'm going along the main road. And there's 2 trailer parks back here. And there's also a couple of businesses along this road. And I've excavated part of it. A larger parking lot right here, some for trucks and trailers storage. And there's a diner, gas station over here. I believe the gas station is right here and the diner being right here. And there's also a grocery store off in this direction right here, with the trailers being, there's a trailer park here, and I haven't yet put in the roads for it yet, but you can see part of the framework for some of the roads. And there's another trailer park over here. And this right here is just me trying to get the length of the road as close as I can. And this is part of the main road going out of town. And I'll follow the main road, the main highway, for a little bit and take a right and go to the logging area. I've got a lot of the areas excavated on this other side over here. And I just have a few more roads to put in, and the rest of it is going to be a lot of trees. This road will take you to 2 farms, both on the right side. And it will also eventually take you to Muldraugh as well. And then trying to get in the roads and have them match up with these other roads and these other systems was a headache. And especially getting in patterns like this into the ground. And try to get it as close as possible. And some of these roads take some pretty interesting turns. This one leads to what looks like was going to be a construction area with 2 trailers in an open field. And there's also a trailer off in the middle of nowhere, off in this direction right here. And I'll put that in too. I'm going to try to keep it as close as I can to all the things that I can put into this build. And this road right here will take you to the logging company. And the logging company is split off into 2 businesses. At the moment, I just have the good deal of the excavation done, so it will be ready for when I'm ready to work on it. And here there are 4 buildings, some of them pretty large. And I still have a little bit more to excavate on this side. But this will be a large part of the build here. And then there's the area right here is more of a storage area for the logging company. So there's going to be a lot of logs. But I've got in the framework for exactly how large it should be. And there's also a construction area over here. There's a construction area over here doesn't require quite as much detail. There's a framework for 2 buildings, but not much is actually built in otherwise. In fact, the current driveway, or the current parking lot as it stands, is pretty much already in. That being this right here. There's nothing painted in, and it's a pretty simplified build right here. So this part right here is already done. And this over here, I need to put in the framework for a 2-story building. And that's just simply the metal framework, the walls aren't in. And the frame for the single building over here. And I don't know how tall the buildings would ultimately be, since there's only part of the framework in, but it looks like they're going to be fairly decent in size. In terms of size, that's easier to determine because I can actually see the concrete that was poured in. It's just the height of the building. That's the part I don't know how long it would eventually be. And this is also another road that leads out. And this road right here will lead to the area that I've been excavating recently. And that's a factory. And I'll go down there. So a couple of factories and storage buildings. Factories, storage buildings, warehouses, that sort of thing. The thing is, I've been so used to using the PC version that I forgot when I started the PS4 version that the size of the map is finite, whereas the PC version is infinite, basically. Much more finite than a PC map. So when I was building it, I ended up accidentally placing this warehouse on the edge of it. I thought originally I could do the entire map, but I can only do part of it based on the current size restrictions of Minecraft on the PS4. And over here I just have the excavation done. Some of the parking lots in, and that's just to measure everything out. But there's going to be quite a few warehouses and factories over here. Originally, there is in the Project Zomboid map, that is, there's a factory over here, but this is the edge of the map, so wasn't able to actually get all of that in. The headache, however, is in the fact that there's a building that actually was cut off by the edge of the map. And that is right here. I just put in the basic design of how the building would look based upon the position it's supposed to be in. And as you can see, part of it's cut off. Now, 2 options are here. One of them is to actually alter the map and to move this building far enough that I could actually put in the entire building, but that's one thing I've been doing my best to avoid at all costs, since it would greatly warp how this area looks over here. The second option is to leave it as it is and just build up around it. And there's a slight third option, that is to actually just make the building smaller and close off this area right here. Basically making a wall pretty much like this, which will make this building smaller than what it's supposed to be, but I can't really build outside here anyway. So it's to leave a gap or make it smaller. And there's no good way to actually fix this. All three ways require a type of compromise. And I think what I'm going to eventually do is do the third way and just create a wall like this. So this building will be considerably smaller than what it is. But it's basically the best I can do in this situation. In which even in this situation, this is probably the best one that I can do, is that it still works. Because it basically still works as a warehouse, which is what the building is supposed to be to begin with. And perhaps in the future, if the map size possibilities for Minecraft can be increased, I can add more areas in. Anyway, that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching.